panelists will explore the intersection of the horror and satire, two genres that aim to evoke strong and opposing reactions of fear and laughter. They will discuss if and how these genres can complement each other and what happens when they intersect. I would like to invite on stage SOHAM SHAH and KARAN OBEROI, who are in conversation with Dr. Sonika SETHI. SOHAM SHAH is a filmmaker, a fine artist, advertising company creator, and author. His company, Able and Will, handles top corporate and Bollywood movie campaigns. He has assisted Karan Johar and Ram Gopal Verma and directed the films Kaal and Luck. His debut novel is Blood Moon. Karan Oberoi has been in the entertainment industry for over 20 years. He has modeled in over 200 commercials, founded the boy band A Band of Boys, and acted in popular TV shows such as Swabhiman and Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi. He has authored 5 books, including the bestseller Battlefield Brothers. Oberoi has written and composed music for various projects and produced the web series Mukhbir. Dr. Sonika SETHI is an associate professor of English at ST College, Ambala, Kant. Her articles are published in Hindustan Times, The Tribune, and more. She authors 2 blogs and is the executive editor of Rivers Beat. She has written 9 books. Over to you, Sonika.
Thank you, Radhika. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last session of CLF Literati. I hope you have a wonderful session and you enjoy what we are going to talk today. So I have with me 2 very handsome gentlemen, and don't just go by their looks. They are not only about looks and Bollywood glamour. They are 2 very intelligent individuals who have penned books. Soham has come up with a novel, Blood Moon, which is a thriller, outrightly. And Karan has authored a couple of books, not only 1, but a couple of books. And mostly we shall be talking about his latest novel, Rockstar in Reverse. Welcome both of you to Chandigarh and CLF Literati. Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So Karan, I shall start with you. Your career spans an impressive array of creative ventures, right? You've been a model, you're an actor, you're a singer, you're a musician, a platinum-selling band, a lyricist, a composer, a screenplay writer, a producer, and a director, and a novelist.
Basically a restless soul.
Now my question to you is why? Kyun? The Lord Almighty has already given you a good face, a Greek god's body.
No, I didn't pay her for that, but...
I mean, we all are trying to don multiple hats. We here have our festival director, Dr. Sumita Mishra, sitting amongst us. She is a multifaceted personality. She's a top-notch bureaucrat. She's an author. She's a poet. She is the festival director.
Then that question doesn't really quite hold ground, does it?
But still, you stop at nothing. Why? I mean,
why is not the I don't know whether why is a pertinent question. The idea is.
Do you want to be a one-man army?
No, I don't want to be an army. I just want to. There's a very beautiful couplet by Nida Fazli, which says कि बच्चों के छोटे हाथों को चांद सितारे छूने दो, 4 किताबें पढ़ के वो भी हम जैसे हो जाएंगे. So, the idea is the world will put limits on you because they speak from the perspective of how limited they are. That doesn't define you. The idea is whatever you're doing it, as long as you're doing it with truth, passion, and a lot of purity, and expressing yourself in whatever shape or form you want to. See, like I said, it's so easy being an actor because people celebrate you, they celebrate your presence, and get waylaid by the fame, the affection that comes your way. The glamour that associates itself with that. But when you do an inward search, you're constantly trying to figure out what makes you tick. And if there is something, if you want to express, then the idea is it should be limitless. You want to write a poem, you should write a poem. You want to climb the Mount Everest, you should be able to do that. And nobody in the world should be able to tell you what you can, you can't do. And most of us suffer from that consequence because the idea is that everyone around you basically will try and limit you. You want to be limitless because And you're, I want to just quickly tell you something that I was good at studies. So when I wanted to come to Mumbai to be a singer, I told my dad, and he said, "Look, but you can actually make a great career out of being, out of your education, and you can do something. You can become an IAS officer or you can IITian." And I passed on some of those very prestigious exams. And I said, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to go to Bombay to sing." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because that's what drives me. I want to be able to sing." So he gave me a very, very nice advice, which I always give to young people. He said, "Look, you'll go to Bombay. You will possibly not have a roof over your head. You'll possibly not be able to eke out a living because it's a very expensive city and it's a very tough city. While being on that journey, are you going to be happy and satisfied that you're following the course of your destiny or the course of your heart?" I said, "Yes, I will." He said, "Will you come back complaining to me?" I said, "I won't." He said, "Then do what makes you happy." So all those things that you mentioned, I don't do that because I want to be acknowledged for that. They give me happiness. That's the reason.
Wonderful, wonderful, Karan. And Soham, that brings me to you. So you come from a family of professionals. Both your parents are doctors. Your brother and bhabhi are doctors. And you also graduated from the prestigious JJ School of Arts. And then you started your own advertising company. But then you ventured into filmmaking and screenplay. And now you are an author also. So what was your parents' reaction when you told them that you wanted to join the Bollywood industry instead of following them into the medical profession? Were they supportive of your decision like Karan's parents?
No, actually, I think no parents usually in the initial stages, they are never encouraging for taking that kind of a risk to go into a, film industry where you don't really have somebody. But at the same time, I think they were the ones to be blamed for, because being doctors, they used to watch every single movie in the theater, and they were avid audience, and they spoilt me by taking to those movies. So I think that gave me that kind of, what we call filmy khida, that, I wanted definitely to do something into movies. And as I was an artist, and I kind of, as my journey grew ahead, when I also went into advertising, my attraction was towards poster designs for movies. I could have done any other side of advertising, but I opted for poster designs because it had the film stars, it had the glamour, it had the gloss, and I loved movies. So that's how my journey started, that I did poster designing. But then obviously in 3-4 years, a stagnancy came in where I thought that, in a short time, everybody would be using these softwares, and I need to, vent out my energy into something much more bigger as a project. And honestly, people never used to pay me for my poster designs. So I said, one day I will take a position in the film industry where nobody can cut my money. So I said, let me become a director eventually so nobody can take away my money.
Did they take away your money?
They still do.
They still do.
If you make a hit, they give you.
So have you ever told this to your parents?
No. They've been very satisfied and very happy with this entire journey. So they obviously, they were scared initially that whether, one can make it or no, but I think their blessings are enough for us to give that support.
Definitely, parents' blessings are enough. So Karan, you have ventured into various mediums, and each medium has its unique challenges and rewards as far as storytelling is concerned. And given your experiences across all these creative expressions and mediums, which medium do you find most fulfilling for telling stories, and why? And also, is there any particular instance or example where an idea started in one particular medium, but it formulated or expressed itself in some other medium?
It's almost asking a parent to choose a child, and I know it's a bit of a cliched response, but the fact is, everything that I do it from what drives me, and it comes straight from the heart. So whether it's writing poetry or writing songs or writing stories, there's nothing, it's kind of very difficult to choose something that, because if it doesn't fulfill me, I won't do it. That's usually how I live my life. That it has to satisfy all my urges, and it has to, I always say there are two kinds of people. There are people who work, who wait for the weekend, and there are other people who wait for the weekend to get over. I belong to that category because I do something that gives me so much joy that I don't wait for the weekend. There's no weekends for me. I work all the time, and I don't call it work because it's so joyful. I'm surprised when I go on a stage and people pay me for it. I'm saying I do it for free. I don't make that a cue for others to call me for a concert without paying me, but that's generally the idea. Secondly, when you talked about something that triggers, it starts in a direction and goes somewhere else. So I've recently I've directed India's first audio film. So basically, it's a film called Choti Si Baat, and it's done. I've written it when I mean audio film, what I mean it's in spatial binaural audio, like the theater of the mind. So it's an experience of a film, but you can't use your eyes, you have to use your ears. So if there's any travel, like for example, we are sitting here and I move away from you, all of that imagination is in your head. And it basically started because I started writing something which I felt was a need of the hour. And this is something that I always, as a poet, I always say, in this country, we are writing a lot of songs about women. So we are writing about them, but who's talking to them? So every song, and including the great city that I am in, a lot of music comes out of here. If I take out Gaddi, Daru and Ladki, there is no song. That's not good. That's really not good because you're lowering the discourse to another level. Where is the song which talks to a woman and says, look, I want to talk to you? So, for example, there's a song which says ki, ऐसा होगा वैसा होगा अपना घर, जिक्र करें और फिक्र करें मैं और मेरे हमसफर. दीवारों के रंग से लेकर कैसे होंगे फर्नीचर, छोटे छोटे झगड़े होंगे छोटी छोटी बातों पर.
Why don't you sing it for us?
No. I'm going to do the singing for later because I'm going to need the tracks and I'm going to do, if you guys want me to sing, that is. And if I see some enthusiasm,
we'll definitely have that. But
so,
a couple of lines that highlight your philosophy of life or the thing you've been talking about.
It's an unreleased album, but I'll sing just maybe a few lines of that. So it's the song is, ऐसा होगा, वैसा होगा, कैसा होगा अपना घर, जिक्र करे और फिक्र करे मैं और मेरा हमसफर. Those are the first two lines. So the idea was that there is a man and a woman who are talking about the things that women may want to hear, about companionship, about love, about affection, about building a home together. And so the urge to go back and speak about these things that should matter to a poet, because usually poets, writers, authors, all of us who are sitting here are nothing but mirror to society. So if you notice something, it almost becomes a trigger for you to express it somehow. And which brings us to satire, which I'll answer later on, but that's what happened with this
I'll
particular.
come back to it. Thank you. So that's wonderfully put together, Karan. And Soham, your career began under the mentorship of Ram Gopal Verma and Karan Johar, right? So they have a lot of influence on the work you have been doing. You did Bhoot with Ram Gopal Verma, which was a paranormal thriller. And then you did Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum with Karan, which was an outright family drama. So they've had some influence of on your film. So how did working with these two legends have influenced your approach towards storytelling, and what lessons have you experienced, or do they continue to shape your future projects?
Yeah, definitely. See, both my gurus, I would say, I had the opportunity to work with two very distinctive people. Like, one was into very big budget films, very opulent films, family dramas, and the other director, Ram Gopal Verma, would never believe in a family or would make films with completely no budget. So I got to see two very different tangents. And of course, I tried to pick up the best of both worlds, that how to kind of, imbibe the production or the good values of storytelling with minimum budgets, but very strong technicalities. So I think I had great schooling from both of them. I was very fortunate. And at the same time, the reason that I could write a novel today, or I also wrote my films, is completely the credit goes to Karan Johar, because the schooling was very, without being preachy, and in those days, there were no film schools, there were no film courses that we would go to. So whatever you're learning is first-hand experience on the set. So with people like Karan Johar, what I realized that, the Bible, the script that he would follow, the writer Karan Johar, it was completely, the entire film was made on paper. Those 250 pages or 350 pages of that script is actually, when you read, you could see the film, So the films are usually made on a script, which is what I learned that day, and that still remains with me. And also one very more important thing, that because I had no background in the film industry, I asked myself a simple question, that why would anybody give me a chance to direct a film, you know? And the answer is that without a story, there is no director, there is no producer, there is no actor. So I somewhere imbibed that quality that I have to write my own story if I want to be a storyteller. And the moral of the story with Karan Johar was that you have to be a storyteller. You do not have to be a director, because there are directors and many people can direct once they know the camera and the techniques and stuff like that. But you need to have a voice, or you need to have your own storytelling, technique, or what you want to say. So I think that remains with me till date.
Okay, Soham, at this point of time, I would like you to share with our audience the incident that you mentioned in the morning, that you took your script to Yash Johar, and what happened after that.
Yeah,
so that is an interesting anecdote. I think our audience would love to know about it.
Yeah, so it's a funny incident because in 2004-05, I wrote Kal, and Bollywood Hindi movies were being made in a certain format where they were glossy, they had songs, they had family, they had action, masala movies. And I suddenly write a film which is called Kal, which is based in Corbett Park in the jungles of north, and not many people knew Corbett Park at that point. And I was obsessed with forest and tigers and all. So all those things which I loved, I put them into this one script, which I never knew if anybody would even read or produce, because it was a weird script with somebody haunting a jungle, or spirit of Ajay Devgan haunting a jungle with 3 tigers around and stuff like that. It was crazy. But so Karan Johar, luckily, when he read it, he was happy. He said, I have read something really fresh and I would like to produce it. But his father, Yash Johar, he was a senior man. He was one of the most respected people of our industry. But he was a production person. So he threw the script on my face. He said, अरे कुछ भी लिख के आते हो तुम यंगस्टर्स, करण को पढ़ा दिया, सुना दिया, इम्प्रेस हो गए, बना लो पिक्चर. ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है, 3 टाइगर घूम रहे तुम्हारी स्क्रिप्ट में, कहाँ से लाओगे टाइगर? और कॉर्बेट पार्क, he fired the hell out of me. He said, Sunil Dutt Saab wanted to shoot a film in Corbett Park. Corbett Park has never given permission to shoot a film ever. And he actually threw a challenge at me. He said, Soham, you cannot use my company name. You cannot use my name. You go to Corbett Park. I'll give you money to stay there. आप हफ्ता रहो, 10 दिन रहो या 15 दिन रहो. If you can get the permission on your merits कि ये film Corbett Park में shoot हो सकती है, only then I will produce this film. So, it was a challenge which I really thank him today, because he taught us production in that way. And I had to go to Corbett, and for the first 10 to 12 days, I had run out of money. And the forest officer who was in charge, Mr. Hathi, he was not available because he was busy. He was attending to the elephants and the tigers. He didn't have time, obviously, for a filmmaker who wants to make a Hindi film in Corbett, So it was a tough journey, but I managed to only tell him one thing, that, sir, आप अगर पढ़ सके 2 घंटे निकाल कर, and if you think that there is a message in this film, then please give me permission. Then my producer will put money and we'll be able to conserve tiger and forest. And it took him 48 hours to get back. And I said, yaar, kuch nahi hone wala, train pakdo, niklo wapis. And Yash Johar joote marenge abhi jaake. But touchwood, he loved the script and he said, go ahead and make this film.
And the rest is history, yes, as they say. But history से याद आया, कहीं मैंने पढ़ा था कि जो tigers आपने use किए हैं काल movie में, those were flown specially from America to Thailand to shoot the sequences. तो आपने US से specially tigers मंगाए, Indian tigers क्यों नहीं use किए? Indian tigers में क्या कमी थी? Were they not trained enough? और अगर training की कोई problem थी तो आप उनकी शादी कर देते. यहाँ तो बड़े-बड़े शेर बैठे हैं, शादी के बाद सब चूहे बन जाते हैं, ट्रेनिंग आ जाती है इनको.
तो उनको तो टाइगर ही चाहिए थे ना स्क्रिप्ट में, चूहे थोड़ा चाहिए थे.
अरे शेर को हम ट्रेन कर सकते हैं तो टाइगर क्या चीज है?
मैं वही कहने वाला था कि जब एक टाइगर शादी करके जो ट्रेन हो जाता है ना, उसके बाद वो कुछ नहीं कर सकता,
चूहा बन जाता है ना फिर,
तो वो बिल्कुल एक्टिंग नहीं कर पाता. सो ऑब्वियसली दैट ऑप्शन वाज आउट. बट मेरे पास टाइगर से ज्यादा वाइल्ड एक्टर्स थे. मुझे बड़े बड़े महारथियों को हैंडल करना था, अजय देवगन, विवेक ओबेरॉय, सबको. बट द जोक्स अपार्ट, द थिंग इज दैट इंडिया में working with wild animals was banned, which is banned today also, which is a good thing. So of course I had to source these tigers which were used in Gladiator movie, and they were in America, but obviously it would have been very big budget to go to America and shoot. So we got them to Thailand. We did our sequences in Thailand because the forests are exactly, they match the Indian terrain and stuff like that. तो उस तरह से हमने tigers को वहाँ manage किया.
All right, wonderful. So horror and thriller say now we come to satire, and I'm back to you, Karan. So Rockstar in Reverse actually masterfully blends satire with some of very profound themes like redemption and the power of love. Now this is not an easy feat, right? So, because satire often gets overshadowed by those serious themes or the philosophy of the author, and these deeper themes, they tend to subdue the satire in the writing process. It dilutes the humor in the writing process. So, were there any incidents or moments where you felt that your satire was being suppressed by these overlaying themes of redemption and love?
Not at all. I really don't ponder so much about what I need to say and how I need, I mean, of course, how I need to say it, yes, but those are not...
How did you navigate through all this?
Truthfully, as much as possible. So, like I said, if this was a comedy club, we'd have an audience of about 10,000 people. Because we are talking about a serious subject, there are few limited people who are keen or interesting. Some of them are going through their phones. That is a reflection of how the world sees sees content in that sense. So the idea is that whenever you make something, you reflect, let people tell people the truth. You have to have an iron fist with a velvet glove. So the idea is how much can you cushion it, because if it pains you, if it irks you, if it bothers you, it has to come out of your system and you have to show it. For example, Rockstar Reverse, the opening chapter talks about reality shows which are really not reality. It's all scripted.
It's all scripted.
So I could be the greatest singer in our country, but if I don't have a backstory of my father being a carpenter or of my mother dying at childbirth,
you need a tearjerker to...
There's no story. So how is it a reality show? It's basically a forum for telling stories about people from backgrounds. And I understand the overarching theme of how this guy, from rags to riches story. It's beautiful. But the series is not about the reality show, Saregama or Indian Idol, is not about your stories. It's about your talent. So talent takes second stage. So when you notice something like that and it bothers you, and you start telling people like that, they'll stop calling to forums like these. So the only way I could do it was to use satire and humor as a tool to be able to show some kind of a mirror to society. Like the cartoonists have done it. I mean, look at the Times of India cartoonist. I mean, the gentleman who passed away. I mean, he used to write... R.K. Lakshman. He used to show you show you the reality in such a beautiful way that it didn't offend you. And the idea is, whenever I write something, it's not to... So satire is not about offending people. It's about making people think, ponder, and at the same time entertain them, because there's a certain theme of humor around it. And I don't spare anyone when I write. I don't spare myself either. I use a lot of self-deprecating humor in all my books, because the idea is I don't take myself too seriously. So
I was really happy to read a couple of one-liners that you have inserted in your text. For example, his chapter 4 begins with a very punchy one-liner. It says, "Laughter is the best medicine if you don't have an insurance." Right? And similarly, chapter 5 begins with the female protagonist, Shruti Iyengar, saying, "I make a fool of people, but most are do-it-yourself types."
Most of them are do-it-yourself types. I mean, it's, yeah.
So those are really amusing. And Rockstar in Reverse can also be described as a autobiography, as you...
It is autobiography, because, see, look at the playground. It is about a guy who's in a boy band. Oh, well, great. That's a surprise there.
That's a surprise.
They became very popular 20 years back. Oh, that's a surprise too. There's this guy who had a massive fan following, and then the band broke up for some reason. Oh, I wonder why that happened.
I wonder.
And then this guy is trying to get back the band together and trying to eke out a living as a musician. So the irony is that I was able to look at my life and say, well, I could either be very saddened by what has happened with the band, and now fortunately we have come back with an album called Band of Boys Reignite, but that apart. Or I could look at it from a humorous point of view and say, look, I can actually talk about this and still give you a feeling about If you, I mean, the book ends with a very, I mean, the protagonist goes up and he says, life is not about first, second, or third, third chances. It's not about second chances. It's about the fact that you surround yourself with people who believe in you and give you that faith back, because of which you're able to get over your self-doubts and do something with your life. So there is a thematic resonance in the book. Yeah. But like I said, I've used humor as a tool because I find that you're able to wade through a lot of very serious subjects about redemption, about love, about romance, without making it banal or boring. That's the idea.
Yeah, I agree with you. So coming to Soham, Soham has come up with his first novel, The Blood Moon. And Blood Moon seamlessly weaves elements of supernatural, paranormal, horror with deep human emotions and tragedies. Right? So how do you strike a balance between crafting eerie surroundings, spine-chilling horror moments, and the emotional depth of your characters? Right? There is a vulnerability about your characters, and have you ever felt that one aspect of your storytelling takes precedence over another? And have you ever felt that, no, they are intrinsically linked and I should weave them in one single tapestry kind of a thing? So how do you go about it?
So I'll tell you about Blood Moon. So basically when I started writing or thinking about a paranormal horror thriller, I was very sure that unless I do not have a new aspect of why a spirit or a ghost is haunting, if I do not crack a good story around the reason why a ghost is haunting or the evil spirit is haunting somebody, I don't think I want to attempt it. The reason is that Carl days were 2005-6. Today we're in 2024, 24 hours with our mobiles and laptops and gadgets and Insta reels and distractions. It's very difficult to scare people now. It was always
unless you're following drops on Instagram. Yeah. Or nobody validates you on social media. Then it's very scary. Yeah. That's a horror story. Just give you an idea.
I totally agree. So like, no, what I mean is that, you need to get a realistic approach in your horror storytelling as well. It's not only about scary moments, when we talk about movies, the background music or sudden jerks and scares, and it's not anymore about that. It needs to go deeper into the emotional level. So I came across this one particular article which was very, very scary and interesting, that when a mother delivers a baby and after that most of the women go through postpartum psychosis. And if it's not treated at the right time in the right way, then that disorder can completely take over a mother. And it reaches to a certain stage where the mother would want to kind of, kill her own child because of all the depressions and the negative thoughts and stuff like that. So that became the core of my Blood Moon. It became like the starting point, that this emotion is very scary, where a mother wants to harm her own child. So this gave me a trigger point to start. And then there are many other, points that created the world of Blood Moon, because there's Mathiran. It's one of my favorite hill stations in Maharashtra, and there's a novelty about it that there are no cars allowed even today. So even in the daytime, Mathiran is quite a scary kind of a place. Of course, not taking away the beauty, but then how I weave the entire Blood Moon, the story of the haunting with all the, story elements.
So Mathiran is not only the setting, but also a living and breathing character in
very
your
much,
story.
yes, very much, absolutely.
Wonderful. That's something brilliant. I think your directorial skills have definitely helped you in writing this novel, no?
It does, because anything that we do, like from the film industry or as a writer or a novel writer, it all starts with the visual first. We think visually first. Before I start picking up my pen and paper, I would for 1 month, 2 months only keep doing visual references, that what is the world I want to go into? What is the world I want my audience to kind of, imagine? So it starts being an artist also. It starts with more visual storytelling, and then slowly everything, gets together.
Thank you, Soham. And Karan, I would like to bring you back to something you mentioned earlier in the session. Your short movie musical film, Choti Si Baat. So you mentioned that it's binaural audio.
Binaural spatial.
Binaural spatial.
Yeah.
So I would like you to shed a little light for the sake of our audience. What is the difference between binaural audio and stereo audio?
Binaural spatial audio means that the sound will travel and when the object or the person moves away, the sound will travel along. Basically, it's a 360 experience in your head. Stereo is just for between your two ears. So if there's a sound coming from your left and there's a sound coming from your right. But in binaural spatial, basically it covers the entire spectrum. So if the girl is moving on from your left ear, if she's moving to your right, and she'll span across your head. If she moves away, you'll get a sense of distance. So what is beautiful about binaural spatial is, and I'm the first guy in India who's doing it right now, but slowly and steadily you'll start seeing others to adapting to the technology also, is that in a visual medium, in a film, you see the projection. Like someone would make a film, he'll show you the visuals that you'll experience from his vision. In theater of the mind, I'm directing you a story, or I'm telling you a story that you'll visualize in your own head using your own imagination. So if there are 100 people sitting here, 100 people will experience the same story, but the visual that will play out in their head will be different. And they'll experience completely with the Foley, with the sound, with all the noise that's coming there, people traveling, all of that, but minus the visual representation that I'm enforcing on them. That's what makes it feel very exciting.
I think this deserves a huge round of applause. Did I not mention that he's not just a beautiful face, but an intelligent mind also? So that's very intelligent. On a lighter note, Karan, rock star, real or reverse? I don't care. But you must have had your share of interesting fan encounters. Yeah. So tell us something, one of your hilariously awkward moments, or say downright bizarre thing that happened between you and your fans.
Well, it happened with the Band of Boys many times. So the first 5 years, it was surreal because we were traveling. We were a young boy band, barely out of our teens, singing music and showing off our bodies on camera. And clearly it was triggering the right response from our traditional audiences of women. And we've had many myriad experiences across the globe, from Las Palmas to Cambodia to Japan. Most of them, there are times when we would sing on stage and not be able to hear the entire the song that we were singing, but the audiences were louder than us. But this one particular incident that stands apart was we were in Delhi performing for a New Year's gig, and there were the majority of women in the audiences, and we were gracious enough to say, look, we will finish the concert and we'll do the signing of the autographs. At that time, we used to have pen and paper, and so we allowed a security team to allow them to come backstage and take autographs. But the sheer volume of women that came there, and I don't know for what joy, they started to grab us and pull at our clothes. And this was in Delhi in extreme cold, and we are from Bombay, and so we're not used to the cold. And we had a press conference to attend immediately after that. And what was the shocking revelation was that by the time we reached the hotel, we were barely covered. We were in underwear in front of an entire entourage of press. They were looking at us saying, what happened to them? They've been marauded by a fan of women, by women fans. And
I hope Chandigarh women behave themselves.
No, we were young at that time, and I like I said, it's a boy band. The appeal was very different, and it was a very new phenomenon at that time. We didn't have poster boys in music. We had poster boys in cricket. We had poster boys in Bollywood, but not in the music space. And we were the first of its kind, so it sort of
and you were all young and handsome.
Yeah, that too. That helps.
Wonderful, Karan. So, Soham, now I would request you to let our audience know about your forthcoming project, which is a new film called Kartam Bhuktam. And guys, believe me, I have watched the trailer of the movie. It's so thrilling. I mean, mind-boggling. The background score is wonderful. And we would see Vijay Raj in a new avatar altogether.
Very fine actor. Really fine actor.
So, tell us something about your new film.
Yeah, so Kartam Bhuktam, actually, it already had a very small theatrical release a couple of months back. And very soon it should be coming on one of the OTT platforms. But yeah, it's again, if people have seen Kal, if they've seen Luck or Blood Moon, it's definitely a subject or a film. I can always assure you that something new that you've not seen before.
Always. Imagine doing Kal, just to sort of interject you for 2 minutes. Imagine doing Kal in 2004 when we were we had so many dogmas about what would work, from the girl dancing, little romance, Shah Rukh Khan, that sort of a space, to come with a creature action film at that point of time. And a wonderful song that we performed to quite a few times, Kal Kal Karke Sab Kuch Dhamal. And then we performed that at stage many times.
And Toba Toba Ishq
And, yeah, absolutely. So great music also, but definitely an incredibly original voice at that time. So I'm very sure that whatever you come up with, Soham, is going to be really great. But go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so again, this film it deals with a very different subject, which has astrology involved, occult science involved, and I think it's a very different genre which nobody has yet attempted. So with a very humble star cast, but high on content. So
I'm not sure they're a humble cast. They are great actors.
No, they are fantastic actors.
So,
but
yeah,
what
Shreyas
I mean is that
Talpade and Vijay Raj,
yeah,
I
they're
think they're
fantastic.
wonderful actors.
In fact, this has been my most satisfying, journey as a
Project.
filmmaker, because what they added to the film, I think the big stars also cannot, because they are very, very dedicated actors.
you just said the buzzword, dedication and passion. That's what makes a great artist.
True,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We wish you all the luck in the world for your upcoming project.
Thank you.
And now, guys, it's time to wind up. And before we go, I won't let you go like this. There's a rapid fire round which both of you have to attempt, and just say the word that comes to your mind, right? So it begins with Soham, you. One word to describe Blood Moon.
Captivating.
Wonderful. Karan, one word to describe Rockstar in Reverse.
Fun ride.
Fun ride. That's wonderful. Okay, writing by hand or typing?
And
By hand.
By hand. In this age.
Absolutely. There is something, just to sort of, people, just to sort of give a little bit of information. Writing is almost, it basically, there's something called neuralistic programming. When you write, you trigger your brain, and then it sort of activates itself to be able to give you more fodder for how you're going to write going forward. So never replace writing with typewriter, because you will run out of ideas, is what I believe in. Neuralistic programming is a very, very strong program that runs in our body. It's a part of our ethos as human beings. So it's incredibly important, especially this is why the children are taught to write with hand. And I've prayed to God that we don't shift them to computers and to laptops before teaching them how to write with hand, pen and paper. It's very, very important.
So Karan, if you ever plan to retire, you should try your hands at teaching. You're so good at teaching new things.
You're very kind. Thank you so much.
All right, next question. Coffee or tea while writing?
in the day, tea, at night, coffee.
Tea.
Tea, okay. Tea lovers we have. Okay, a film you wish you had directed?
There are many in the pipeline of my own scripts. I don't have any list which somebody else has directed because I'm an audience and a fan. But yeah, many more to come.
12th Fail.
12th Fail.
Yeah, beautiful film. Absolutely.
Beautiful film.
The kind
Wonderful.
of cinema I want to be associated with as a writer, as a director, as a producer.
But you would never fail 12th.
But I'll still have a story.
You would. If Blood Moon becomes a movie, what's the first scene you would like to direct?
Actually, in Blood Moon, the first scene that it starts with, I think it's a very, very gripping scene, okay, where a horse gets possessed and it kind of, somebody, the
Bingo.
horse rider kind of, falls off and dies. That sets the tone of the film or the novel. So I think I would go with that.
If Rockstar in Reverse becomes a movie, who would you like to play the title role?
Ranbir Kapoor.
Ranbir Kapoor, oh my God.
One of the easiest, one of the best actors in the country. Absolutely.
Wonderful, he's
Yeah.
so versatile
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
All right, first thing you do on a film set?
I just go and take the vibe and I just imagine every corner, whether it is exactly the way I had visioned in my initial writing drafts. I just take that inside me.
How about you, Karan?
May I give them a wrong lecture about how they have to be their optimum best, but at the same time, discipline is a very important part of my set. Second is the idea is that we are a team. So one chink in the armory will cause massive loss to us, and it'll also sort of affect the mood. So don't treat it like a job. Think that you're here for fun, but keep the discipline intact.
Now I believe you should have followed your family profession, being a Fauji. All right. Books or movies, your escape of choice?
Movies.
Books.
Books, I knew that was coming. So that is, I have a lot of questions and I could continue talking to you guys for many more hours, but we are to wind up our session for the day. So, yes, I would like the audience to put some questions if they want to. Karan and Soham both are at your
Happy
behest.
to oblige.
Yeah, happy
Please
to
go ahead.
Oh,
Somebody give her a
can
mic,
somebody
please.
pass on the mic, please?
Good evening, Karan. Good evening, Soham.
Good
and
evening.
hi, Sonika.
Hi.
Karan, my question is for you, and for you, a very short one. The book which you have liked the most, and the movie which you can see innumerable times in life because you love it a lot. That's it.
For me, one of the books that I liked was Amish's first book, Melua. I think it was for an Indian author to write that world was lovely. I was addicted to it. I couldn't wait for the 2 parts to come. So it was one of the finer books coming out of India. Really loved it.
Thank you.
I think I would say Lion King.
So sweet.
Your fascination with tigers and wildlife.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely.
Wildlife.
Thank you so much.
Any
Best
other
wishes.
questions?
Yes. I'd also like everyone else to know that my books are here and our books are there on the stall. If everyone wants a signed copy, please pick them up. I'll be more than happy to oblige.
We have Soham's Blood Moon and Karan Oberoi's Rockstar in Reverse, as well as Battlefield Brothers
Yeah, both
on
my books are
display
here.
at
Great.
the bookstall. There's a young lady who would also like to ask some questions.
Sure, please go ahead. There's one gentleman already.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, I was wondering, it's not a question, it's more a request, because when you sang, actually, we woke up and we stopped looking at our phones.
So you mean to say you were sleeping before that? That's not very happy information for me.
No, we believe that if you want your dreams to come true, you have to go to sleep.
And you chose this opportune time while I was on stage to go to sleep. Thank you so much.
His singing is definitely in the pipeline, but let the lady,
Let the lady.
take the privilege of asking a question.
Hi, congratulations, Soham, for your first novel.
Thank you.
This question is for you, since you're writing horror. There's a very famous quote by Shirley Jackson, which is, "I delight in what I fear." So I would like to ask you, is there something that delights you in what you fear?
Well, actually, I believe that I wouldn't have said this anywhere else, but because your question is this, that I think somewhere there is some occult that you connect to, okay? And I think, yeah, spiritually also, I am into, say, tarot cards and stuff like that. So I think I am somewhere part of that world also. So that gives me a lot of, insight in approaching horror in a very much easier way. Because I've seen many writers who say that, no, I don't want to write horror because I myself am scared. I get scared while writing, then I can't sleep properly and stuff like that. But I think for horror for me it comes very naturally, and touch wood, I don't fear anything. And if that fearful world is there, then at least I put it in my storytelling. So I really enjoy it that way.
So thank you, everybody. We had a wonderful time.
Thank you so much for
We
having
had a
us, yeah.
roller coaster of a ride with Karan and Soham. I hope you also enjoyed the session as much as we three did. But we won't leave Karan before seeing him live in action.
I won't leave either. I think music connects and binds, and you give me a state, like I said, I wonder if but I'd pay to be here. Since I'm here, I won't let you go. I've really, really got to sing, even if you don't ask me to.
And we got
Are you
to
guys up for
listen.
that? Would you like me to sing? Even if you said no, I'd still sung. So what I'm going to do is, there is a song which is thematically very correct for Rockstar in Reverse. So I'm hoping that it'll sort of encourage you to go and buy my book. So I'm going to start with it's an old wine in a new bottle. Old song you possibly might know, might be familiar with. And like I said, it thematically binds my film very well. So we'll start with that. 2 minute wala. यहाँ पर थोड़ा मुझे दीजिएगा. And all you have to do is exercise. You know how? Lift up one of your hands. All of you. One of your hands. Now lift up the other one. Now try joining them together rhythmically. Oh, that works like magic. Because that gives me the fodder to carry on. So let's have the track.
सोचते ही रह गए और प्यार हो गया और जाने कैसे कब कहाँ इकरार हो गया हम सोचते ही रह गए और प्यार हो गया.
I love to see the smiling faces. Let's have your hands up in the air, everybody.
बेबस किया दिल ने हमें धोखा दिया, तुमने हमें बेबस किया, दिल ने हमें धोखा दिया। उफ तौबा जीना मेरा दुश्वार हो गया, हम सोचते ही रह गए और प्यार हो गया। जाने कैसे अब कहाँ इकरार हो गया, हम सोचते ही रह गए और प्यार हो गया।
Thank you, thank you. But if you guys are in a mood to dance, I'll have to sing something that you have to do dance. I don't have dance tracks. Chalega? Should I sing one of my own songs? Would that help? You guys have to make a lot of noise for that. You will? Okay, let's have the next track. This track is magical because the only time it works is if you have your hands up in the air continuously. So keep that energy going. Let's go. Next track, yeah. It's from a band of boys. It's called Gori. Can we have the track?
चाह तुझे है जहाँ से भी ज्यादा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार। पालो तुझे तो पालो जग सारा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार। चाह तुझे है जहाँ से भी ज्यादा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार।
Don't be shy. Everybody at the back, come on. Otherwise, I'm going to jump right in.
याद है वो नदिया किनारे, पनिया भरन को आना। याद है वो नदिया किनारे, पनिया भरन को आना। लहरों की हरकत पे गोरी, हल्के से वो घबराना। नाजुक पैरों का तेरे एकदम से फिसल जाना, मेरी बाहों में तेरा गिरना, धीरे से शर्माना। ओ शाह तुझे है जहाँ से भी ज्यादा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार। पालो तुझे तो पालो जग सारा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार।
Now suddenly feel like connecting with you in person. Should I jump off? I usually do that in my concerts. Come on, everybody, everybody, everybody. Without participation, music doesn't work. Everybody.
शाम सवेरे धड़कने ये मेरी, गाती तेरा ही अफसाना। शाम सवेरे धड़कने ये मेरी, गाती तेरा ही अफसाना। कभी गजल तो कभी गीत में गोरी, लिखता हूँ तुझको नजराना। दीदार तेरा अगर ना हो नहीं आता है करार, तेरी हाँ मिल जाए तो मैं कर दूं ये जान सारो। चाह तुझे है शाह से भी ज्यादा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार, पाल तुझे तो पालो जग सारा। तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार।
Thank you so much. Your smiles, your enthusiasm, your energy is my currency. But if you pay for my book, I'll be happier. So everybody who's interested in wanting to know my story or my autobiography, the books are right here. Get them and I'll personalize them for you. Sounds good? Do you think I've earned it? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
This was fabulous.